Hey Vaqueros, this is DJ Melody. You're listening to Melodies with Melody, and it is so great to be back this fall semester. That was my little stinger you heard. I'm kind of embarrassed about it right now. But you just heard Blue Monday by New Order. Great song, one of the classics of New Wave, but I'm back. I'm better than ever, hopefully. And I've got lots of new music and big plans for my show this year. But one thing I wanted to mention is that I made an Instagram page for the show. So if you're not following, but you really, really want to, it's melodies.with.melody on Instagram. Melodies.with.melody. And if you're here listening to my show because of my Instagram page, welcome to my show. Here on Melodies with Melody, we like to discuss all things, indie music, alt music, those kind of genres, as well as like little fun facts about songs, celebrities, cool and totally not boring music history, which by the way is the best kind of history, as well as the ins and outs of what it means to be like, just a cool person down here in the valley. So I guess I'll start off by saying that a lot has happened over the summer, both with me personally as well as like in the music world. So I went to Europe for like 11 days, which I'll tell you more about later. But I did come back a changed woman, and not in the good way due to the fact that I developed a fear of flying. I was never afraid of flying, but now I am because those European pilots enjoy playing with people's lives or something. The turbulence was horrible. Just gonna say that. I also adopted a new cat. Well, I guess not new. He was my boyfriend's for a while, but I brought him to my house. He's a boy. His name is Nyonyo because he's a little chunky. I'll post pictures of him on the Instagram account if you guys want to see him. He's just a little charming guy. Something else I did over the summer break was watch a lot of movies. Some really good, some not really good, but overall, I've probably watched more movies in this one summer than I have like in my entire lifetime. I'm also really excited to discuss like everything with you guys because I finally feel like a normal person who watches movies regularly instead of just like a freak who really doesn't understand references to popular movies because I've never seen them. I promise to keep up with this so like we can talk about all the new horror movies coming out, especially at this time of year. It's like Halloween. Another thing is that my birthday happened and I got an iPad, so yay, it helps me keep up with the show and stuff. But before I forget to do this thing that I used to do all the time last semester, here's a thrift haul, which is where I basically tell you guys like all the cool things that I found while thrifting and where I found them, which is just like my way of spreading word about local businesses and helping our little community of like resellers, vintage curators, and just overall like small business owners. So this summer I mostly hit up this little 10th Street Plaza, and it has like a bunch of small businesses inside. There's this one called House of Rose. She has so many cool band t-shirts, and me and my boyfriend always stop by. Another one from that same plaza is Monarch Vintage. She has the best dresses, pants, and sweaters. It's mostly feminine clothes, but she's also partnered with Loop Gemini, who does crochet, and I bought this little crochet cherry keychain from her, and it's the cutest thing ever. I love to keep it on my backpack. I also found a cute pair of shoes at Texas Thrift for like $1.25, and when I looked them up online, they were like more than $100. So that was pretty cool, and I'm actually wearing them right now because they're so comfy. They go with everything. I honestly love them. This summer, I also got the chance to see the band Inner Wave perform at the Mixlan Festival in McAllen. And it's basically this festival where they put on like, it's at the convention center and they celebrate different cultures every year. They were supposed to do it every year, I think, but then COVID hit. So the last time I went was like in 2019 and I saw the Red Pears, which by the way, they're coming back to the Valley soon and it's super exciting. So anyways, Inner Wave put a really, really great show on. I got there super early, so I was able to get like a really good spot right up front. And it was probably one of the coolest things that I did this summer beside Europe. And then I got a picture with the band, and I got to meet them like after the show, which is amazing because I've been listening to them since like 8th grade, and now I get to play them here for you guys. So here's Take 3 by Inner Wave. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. I'm DJ Melody. You're listening to Melodies with Melody, and that song was Feed the Tree by a band called Belly. It was like my favorite song of the summer. I was listening to it on repeat. It makes me feel like okay, this is a lengthy description, but stick with me here. It feels to me like a 2000s West Coast teen girl movie, and I absolutely adore it. I love that feeling. Today is Wednesday, September 21st, and it's sunny out. Not a cloud in the sky, and unfortunately, not a chill in the air either. But today is supposed to be the last day of summer, apparently. Tomorrow is the first day of fall, but I don't think things are gonna change down here for like a really long time. So before the break, I had mentioned that I spent 11 days in Europe this summer, and the trip was basically four destinations. It was London, Paris, Florence, and Rome in that order. And I have to say that this was one of the best trips I've ever been on. It was my first time overseas anyway. And I did the whole touristy stuff like the Eiffel Tower. I did the Roman Forum, the Vatican, the London Eye. And when I got back, a lot of my friends and family asked questions, a lot of these questions. So I thought I'd answer some of these just to educate the people, my listeners. Hey guys. Yes, British people do eat baked beans for breakfast. And honestly, it's not that crazy. We eat like regular beans, Mexican beans for breakfast all the time. It's not that crazy. Yes, French people are super rude. And Paris smells terrible for some reason. I don't know. I went to the Eiffel Tower. It smelled like sewer. I don't know why. But Italy also really loves their gelato, their pizza, and pasta. Maybe it's like just because I was in the touristy parts of Italy, but I swear that's all they ever had on their menus. Also, Europe has the same weather as Texas, but they don't have AC. I don't know why. London and Paris, like they had AC in the hotel, but nowhere else. Like none of the businesses we went to or the restaurants. Florence was a total nightmare. It had no AC and no toilet paper in public either. It was the worst. But back to London, I got to visit Buckingham Palace while the Queen was still alive. Rest in peace, Queen Elizabeth, by the way. But also, interestingly, I found a cool little record shop in a town called Greenwich. I thought it was Greenwich, like sandwich, but it's Greenwich. And it's safe to say I absolutely hit the jackpot there. So story goes like this. I walk in, it's a small room filled to the brim with CDs, and I look around a bit, and already I see 2 albums by the Smiths, which were The Queen is Dead, and their self-titled album. But I continued looking, and I asked the man at the counter if he knows if they carry, like, Cocteau Twins, Sonic Youth, just stuff like that. He says he wouldn't know, like, off the top of his head, but then tells me to follow him. So, naturally, as any smart girl would do, I followed the stranger to the basement. Just kidding, don't do that. But he leads me down to the basement, like from a flight of stairs that I totally missed at the beginning when I walked in. And that's where I found all the sweet stuff. So I found Surfer Rosa by the Pixies, Dirty from Sonic Youth, Aphex Twin's Select Ambient Works 85 through 92, Off the Bone by the Cramps, and an EP by the Cocteau Twins that isn't even on Spotify, you guys. So it blew my mind, and I was just carrying like all these albums upstairs. I bought them without even like looking how much they were because I was that desperate to take them home with me, and they ended up being like $5 to $7 each, which is insane. If you guys like have ever tried to buy a used CD like anywhere, you know it's gonna be kind of expensive for some reason. It's not like as cheap as it should be anymore. So this, like, it blew my mind, and I carried them through the rest of Europe with me because that was my first stop, and they got home safely, so I was super excited. And in honor of my trip to Europe, I thought it would be real cool to play some music by like a couple of famous British people. So coming up, I have the Smiths, How Soon Is Now. Make sure to stick around, and I'll see you guys after the break. Welcome back from the break, everyone. This is DJ Melody. You are listening to Melodies with Melody, and that was How Soon Is Now by the Smiths. Of course, that song is probably one of their most famous songs, I guess, aside from This Charming Man. But it's appeared in like so many films like The Craft. Even though that one was a cover, it still counts. And even The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler in that one scene where his ex shows up like on his doorstep. But speaking of movies, I just wanted to give a rundown of my favorite films I watched this summer, like I mentioned earlier. Spoiler alert for this first one, since this movie is still fairly new. It came out this summer. My boyfriend and I went to see Nope by Jordan Peele in IMAX. We saw it like at midnight, and it was so horrifying. I feel like the IMAX and the fact that it was like the middle of the night just made it like all the more scarier. I also went into this movie not knowing that much about it. But there's a couple of scenes. Okay, spoiler alert. Again, if you haven't seen it, lower the volume or something. Don't turn it off. But there's a couple of scenes in that movie that truly shook me to my core. There's a reference in that movie to the true crime case about Travis the chimp. I don't know if you guys know that one. Some people didn't understand the purpose of that scene in the movie, but honestly, how could you not? It's like super fundamental to the whole movie. But anyways, the whole movie was just a horrifying sight to see, and the audio engineer or whoever's in charge of like the sound needs to be like made president of the United States or something, because they did an excellent job and I would trust them with anything. But another great movie that I saw this summer, it's not new, it's an older movie, and I might get hate for this one, but it's Tammy, the one with Melissa McCarthy. This movie, it took care of my short attention span. You know, sometimes I get bored during a movie and I want to look at my phone because things just aren't happening fast enough, you know? But it was just super crazy, and something random was like occurring at all times throughout the movie. It was really lighthearted, which I like. I hate sad, soppy movies, and it's just full of adventure. So I know Melissa McCarthy gets like a lot of hate, as any female comedian does, but she did a really great job in this silly little movie. A quick honorable mention has to be The Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I know came out like a while ago, and I'm super late to it, but honestly, it was great. Wes Anderson came through with the symmetry and the color palette, and it was like overall a really pretty movie to look at, not to mention the super sweet storyline. It has really cool voice actors, and I love the way it's animated. I think that's really unique. One movie, we're going to switch it up a little bit. One movie from this summer that I did not really like was Elvis. So the main issue with it is just the director. He did his usual fast-paced scene-to-scene thing, and it was terrible in my opinion. It kind of felt like I was just watching the whole movie on fast forward, you know? And I noticed that his directing, like editing style looked super familiar, and that's when I realized it was the same guy who ruined the Great Gatsby remake of 2013. So, well, no offense if you liked any of those movies. I just don't like the director, and it kind of gave me a headache. Really quick, I wanted to mention these movies I haven't seen. The X trilogy from A24. I've heard all good things all around. And basically, from what I've heard, it's like a slasher movie about a group of young adults who are actors, and they go into a cabin, I guess in the woods, and bad things happen. That's all I really know. Like, sorry, I don't know that much, but I prefer to go into movies without knowing anything about them. But back to the X trilogy, what's crazy about it is that they already have a second movie out, and it's called Pearl, which was super fast. It's like they finished filming one, and like the next day they were right back on set, like filming another movie. And then they're filming a third one called Maxine. I don't know much about that one, though. This summer, I also watched a show on Netflix called Gilmore Girls. It was recommended to me a lot, but like a lot of my friends, and I loved it. It quickly became one of my favorite shows, like, ever. Sure, the character development was kind of like upsetting, but overall it's a fantastic show. I started watching it when I caught COVID, like at the very beginning of the summer, and I absolutely binge watched this, but I have yet to finish it. I'm on the last couple of episodes, but I can't bring myself to finish it because I know I'm going to be like super sad. But the show, it has really pretty aesthetics, and it also has a really great soundtrack, so I picked one of the songs from the soundtrack, and here it is. It's Sometimes Always by the Jesus and Mary Chain. Hey everyone, welcome back. That was Teenage Riot by Sonic Youth, which is one of my favorite bands of all time, probably. I own like one of their CDs, one of their records, and even like a mug that my boyfriend got me for Christmas, and it's my most used mug ever because I just love them. So again, this is DJ Melody. You're listening to Melodies with Melody, if you haven't figured that out by now. So for those of you who are new here, this will basically be like my last talking point of the day before we go. So let's take advantage of that by going over some speed round facts that are, just news circulating in the music world. So first cool fact we have is that Lana Del Rey will be the subject of a new course that NYU's Clive Davis Institute is offering. It's called Topics in Recorded Music, Lana Del Rey. I, for one, think that That's super interesting. Lana has been an icon ever since her Summertime Sadness remix hit the radio back in like, what was it, 2013, 2012? I don't know. But since then, she's had an everlasting effect on like every cool person I know. Everyone knows her nowadays. She's so iconic. The course will be studying her contributions to stardom, relationship to feminism, and her musical influence, which is a quote from NYU. So this news is like fairly new. I tried to do some more research on it, but this is all we have for now. Every single article was posted like 20 minutes before I wrote this down. Um, this next one isn't really a fact, but it's more of like an observation on how I guess social media is trying to become like a lot more real and humble, I guess you could say. We witnessed the emergence of an app called Be Real, and it allows you to only post once a day when the app sends a notification. It's supposed to be like super random and get rid of like that feeling of, why does everyone have a cooler life than me? That you would usually feel when you use like Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat. And I think it's really cool. I have it, I use it. It's a silly app. However, some people are already criticizing the app because it still like allows you to take the picture even after you miss the initial notification. So some people just wait until they're doing something cool to take a picture, which, kind of defeats like the whole purpose of being real, like the app says. But another cool bit of news that we have is that the Arctic Monkeys are coming out with a new album soon. It's called The Car, and it will be released on Friday, October 21st this year. I think as of right now, they released one of the songs from the album. It's titled There'd Better Be a Mirror Ball, and I listened to it like right when it came out. Honestly, it's not really to my taste. Maybe I need to listen to it again, but I still prefer like their earlier stuff up to the AM album. They took a short hiatus after that, and then they came out with Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. But in that one, they kind of transitioned from more of like a garage rock band to like kind of suave, smooth talker hotel music, which isn't really what I go for, But to each their own. It's still super cool, and Arctic Monkeys will forever be icons in the indie community. You can't deny me that. Once again, I wanted to mention that my Instagram account is I've noticed that I have like a lot more supporters than I had last year or last semester, which is really great because if you were there at the beginning, it was kind of a rough start, and I think it's safe to say that I've improved. But this Instagram account, it feels like a super huge step for me and my show because it's just like another vessel for you and me to communicate better. I will be posting things like pictures to go along with the stories that I tell on here, and also like polls and opening up music recommendations for you guys to comment and like tell me what songs you want to hear on the radio so I can prepare for that week. You can tell me like what topics you want to discuss, or like you could just share the page and spread the word about the show. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who is listening to my show right now, or even if you just shared one of my posts or followed the account, or you're listening to me like on the archive on YouTube right now. Any kind of support just means a lot to me, and I really appreciate all of the love that I'm receiving. I promise I won't let you guys down this semester. So I'll see you guys next weekend. But until then, you can catch me on my Instagram account, melodies.with.melody. Here's Sally Cinnamon, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to Melodies with Melody. This is DJ Melody. Catch me on my Instagram, melodies.with.melody, and I'll see you guys next weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun. Fall is like the superior semester for everything because we have so many like cool holidays like Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I plan to do kind of like special shows for those three holidays, which is really, really exciting because I've never done anything like this before, and I just want to appreciate you guys for like kind of growing with me. And once again, I feel like I have improved kind of a bit because before I would stutter a lot and say a lot, and I need you guys to hold me accountable. Anytime you hear me say call me out because I need to stop doing that. It's such a bad habit. But thank you for everyone who's messaged me, who shares my post on their story, who's replies, people who like tell their family members about it. I know my family's listening. All my friends are listening, and I just want to thank you guys so much for that. So yeah, next Wednesday, 3 p.m., be here. or be square. Be there, be square. Yeah. Um, but yeah, thank you everyone. Love you guys. Have a good Wednesday.